That sounds perfect. We have, it looks like we're just about live.
Hello, people of that beautiful life podcast. This is Roddy Bergström talking all the way from the beautiful Stockholm, Sweden. And actually, it is beautiful. It has been raining a bit the last few days, but now the sun is shining again, and that's very much appreciated. As always, I'm not sitting here alone. Well, I'm alone in my room recording, but spirit-wise, I'm not alone. And that means that my dear and beautiful friend Kidus Campbell is sitting over the little pond between us, between Scandinavia and the UK. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Yeah, it's just I'm feeling a bit gassy. I think for the last 2 episodes of the podcast, I've been wondering if people have been hearing me pass gas during the episodes. I don't know. I haven't listened back to the.
Well, I haven't heard anything, so I can at least say from my end, I haven't heard that happening.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you and I was talking as usual. We usually have this little pre-talk,
Mm-hmm.
just updating each other a bit. And both you and I didn't have the best of nights when it comes to sleep. Different reasons apparently, but that's how it can be sometimes. When things occur. that's literally it. Yeah, but I don't know. Did I say that it's episode 172? I don't know if I did, but it is. We've come this far.
Yes.
And it's the beautiful stuff. Well, I can just start to talk a bit about my week, also fill in. Also, which since I mentioned the night, we can start there because it has been the week kind of thing, and it's been a problem, not the sweet stuff. Yeah, I've had some back problems. I told you, and it's been there for like 1.5 weeks, but not that much until a few days ago, and it really. Yeah, it's been affecting me in a bad way. My sleep hasn't been the best, and also during the day I've had a hard time to sit for a longer period of time. I always believe in, we've talked about that as well, try to go up and take these small breaks, and I take my walks usually with Isaac after lunch, so that's fine. But it's even now sitting talking with you, even though it's a bit better than like yesterday evening, it doesn't feel comfy sitting like this, because I have like a tension in my lower back, I would say, very very far down, and especially on the left side. So it really like I really hope it goes away soon, because it's not fun to feel like that. And especially also since I told you, going to the rehearsal place, gonna rehearse with a band. We're gonna rehearse some new songs, and I need to be a bit focused. I'm gonna take this little power nap after lunch, I think, just to compensate a bit with the not so great sleep tonight. But besides that, I mean, if we don't think about the back for a second, in my case, the week has been pretty okay. I think the weather, it was really warm weather at the beginning, I think, of last week. It went, actually one day it went up to 25 degrees, which was a bit like, okay, what happened? It was like summer all of a sudden. But yeah, it kind of compensated by putting in some days of rain, as mentioned. It was like, this is too good to be true. Let's give him some rain. And it happened. But it's good for the ground and the grass and everything. Right now, I think, especially for Adam, my oldest son, Adam, when he came home from Germany, I told you he was there. They had a really good time. It was like 5 days or 4 days, sorry, he was away, and it was a huge difference. Just over the days he was gone last week, he came home late Friday evening, went Tuesday last week. So during these days, everything happened more or less here. Like the grass like exploded into green, I would say, and the same with like the trees and everything. So yeah. So that's that here. I don't think anything. I'm thinking about, like, you start to look back, and is it anything else that happened that is of worth mentioning here? But I don't think so. So I think I would like to hear how have you had how have you how have you
Oh, brilliant.
right now. You see, I am tired. It's like, oh my god. The attempt there was like
it can be quite brutal when you don't get those extras. We've it's been pretty much, I guess, similar. I've been like weather-wise, it's been pretty similar to you, I guess. I think the highest we've gotten up to is like 17 degrees, which was yesterday, which was nice. Just to put it just to just like make that very clear, it was 17 degrees is nice. Like it is such a good day. So I was out. I was getting I've been basically out in like a jumper and shorts and getting fresh air and just a t-shirt. At one point I went out, I just had on a t-shirt and that was it, and some shorts, not just a t-shirt alone. I did cover my lower region. But generally speaking, it's been nice and warm, and I've actually been sweating under my duvet last night, so I know I'm gonna have to get like tonight. I'm not using that duvet. It's like a duck feather duvet, so I'm gonna have to fold that away, put it somewhere, and I'm gonna get myself a nice thin sheet or something to cover myself in. Because it like I do want something to cover me a bit, but not to like the extent that I need a duvet. So that's been kind of the gist of it. I mean, the thing I spoke to you about earlier is that so because of the fact that I have been like exercising and stuff like that, and I've been trying to take so I've started taking protein shakes, with regards to like gaining weight. So I initially planned to gain weight naturally, but my missus was like, oh, like like let's just, there's this protein shake place in town, like I want to show you it, and all this sort of stuff. And she was so excited about checking this, like taking me to this place, right? And so we go to this place and I'm like, let's just go look and see what it's about, just to make her happy. We get in there and then she's like, we speak to the guys and we tell them like, hey, I'm planning to start exercising a lot and try to gain some weight. And the guys are like, well, this is what you should probably take then, because I told them like about my activity. So I cycle a lot, and I'm also a hard gainer, so I can eat pretty much anything, and my body will basically just break it down, and by the end of the day I'm at the same weight I started the day with.
Yeah, right.
So essentially, they basically told me like, look, there's this protein you can use, take this, blah, 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 and so forth. And I told them, I want something healthy and all that kind of stuff. And I've been taking the protein according to their recommendation. Like the bag says, like, take 2 helpings of it a day. And so I've been having at least 2 per day. But the problem is I've been having it just before bed, which is one of the recommendations. I can have it before bed. That's a problem because I fill my bladder up, because I have the protein shake, and then there's this other thing that I have as well, that I have like 2 scoops of that with water. So I'm having 2 drinks before bed. So the full protein shake, which is like about 100 milliliters, and then the 2 drinks, which is like a full glass of water with this thing in it. By the time I'm in bed, my bladder my stomach is swollen from just like drinking all this stuff, and ready to burst, right? I'm like a bag ready to spray everywhere. And so once I've gone to sleep, within an hour, within an hour, my body wants to like relieve all of this pressure that's built up inside there. And so I find myself waking up in the night and rushing to the toilet to empty this liquid from my body to relieve it. And it's not all coming out at once, because obviously your body has to process it. So some would come out and then I'd go back to sleep. And another hour later or 2 hours later, I'll wake up again and I'd be like, oh, crap, I need the toilet again. Should I get up and go use the toilet, or should I go back to sleep? On some occasions, I have just gone back to sleep. I'm just like, look, like, forget this. Like, I'm just not going to go downstairs right now. But last night was bad. Like, last night I was just getting up. Constantly, I was like, nah, I need the toilet. I got up, went down, came back, and so forth. So I'm gonna have to change up my schedule with how I'm having these shakes, because I can't have it before bed, because it's really messing with my sleep. So that's basically been the whole like my diet and stuff that I've been doing and stuff like that. I mean, generally speaking, outside of that, it's not been too different than any other week per se. I mean, Alex has been painting over the past weekend. I think it was her first time painting. So she did some painting in the kitchen. Me personally, I've not really done much outside of I have gotten in contact with an uncle of mine who lives in the UK that we have not had any communications. I have not seen this uncle of mine since I was what I would like to believe a kid, right? I have not seen my uncle in millennia, it feels like. So I don't even know recognize what he would look like. I don't think I know what my uncle looks like, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to see my uncle on Friday. He apparently drives to my town regularly around every Friday. And we had no idea. The only reason he found out he knew I had been to the UK, but he didn't know I was living here. So he found out that I was living here, and he called me up on sometime, I think it was on Tuesday or something. Okay. And we chatted on the phone, and it was cool and stuff. And he was like, "Hey, let's meet. I'll be in Reading on Friday. Let's kind of meet up and stuff like that." And I was like, "Yeah, let's go for it." So on Friday I'm gonna see my uncle. It's gonna be interesting. Cool. Yeah, it's gonna be quite interesting to see.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is pretty chill. So I'm looking forward to seeing him on. I'm just looking forward to seeing him on Friday.
Where did you say where does he live?
So he lives in a place called Harlow, which is not too far from me. Right.
Yeah.
But you know the size of the UK. It's pretty. It's pretty sizable. So even if where someone lives, more or less, generally speaking, it's difficult. So even him visiting Reading on a regular basis, we've never noticed each other. And especially because of the fact that we haven't seen each other for so long. He has no idea who I am in a sense, as a person. I don't think we've seen each other in a long while, in the same way that I have no idea who he is, and I haven't seen him in ages. So
you could have passed each other on the street and you wouldn't know.
That's exactly what we said to each other. We could have passed each other on the street and wouldn't know, because even if I consider the fact that I've not been to that tongue before, his tongue, I've been to quite a few different tongues in the UK, just looking at my heat map of all the places I've traveled over the past couple of years. He could have been in some of those places at the point in time when I was passing through. And in the same way, as he said to me, he's in Reading regularly. I could have run into him in Reading on a regular basis and not even know, So, it is quite interesting to consider that fact. So I'm looking forward to seeing him this coming week. It's gonna be interesting. And yeah, I mean, I think of the week, I think that's the most interesting thing, because it's fascinating talking to someone who is you're related to that you haven't seen for so long. Of course it is. You live so relatively close, but have not been but have been a bit estranged, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah. Right.
So I guess I'll give you guys updates on meeting Uncle when I meet him at some point or the other in this week.
Exactly. We want to hear more about that, definitely.
Yes. The uncle, the situation. So other than that, I've been playing a lot of Fairy Fencer F on my Switch. So just jumping straight into games.
Sure.
I've been playing a lot of Fairy Fencer F on the Switch, and I am loving this game.
You were positive last time, right?
I was quite positive about it last podcast, and I am still positive. I'm still loving Fairy Fencer F. I'm still appreciating this game for all that it offers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Will you play it on PC, you think?
So the thing is that for PC, I've got and also shout out to all the people in the chat. I've only just noticed the chat was running. Shout out to Nalu and Alex in the chat and all that kind of stuff. The thing though, in regards to the Guilty Gear series, yes, I've played the series. I have not played much of the new one yet though. So yeah, back to what I was saying. I do plan to play it on PC. So let me just check one thing before, because you know there's a thing about it's a word we call it. Let me see. I just need to check one thing in my email. Let's see what I. You know how it is when you're allowed to. Let me see. Sure. Yeah, I can't say anything at this particular point in time. All I can say is that I'll have to talk about it when I eventually play it on PC. But that being said, which honestly speaking, I have not played it on PC yet. So I don't know what it's like on PC. Right. I do plan to be playing it on PC.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I know it's coming to PC. I believe it's on the 22nd. I think.
I thought it was out already.
No, it's not. So that's the thing. So it's come out initially for Switch, and I'm not sure if it's been released for anything else, but I know it's on the Switch for now, and I know it's coming to the PC. Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I think it's on PS4 and 5. Yeah, so it's on PS4 and 5 as well. But I'm not sure why the PC version has been delayed, but my assumption is, the PC version releases on the 23rd of May. So that's about when you guys will hear from me about that game. When I'll probably jump on it on PC.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, I like it on the Switch. I think the Switch is probably my preferred place to play it. I think the reason I would like it on the PC a bit more is visually it would look better in the 3D animation sections. At least I would hope so, because it's on the PC. The only other aspect I would say, because the game runs really well on the Switch, the only thing I can say about it other than that is that I personally like it as the fact that it is that the Switch is a handheld system, and though I play most of the time, I play the game in docked mode. I would love to have this on the Steam Deck. Like, I would honestly love having this on Steam Deck, sitting on my PC and playing this, So at some point I'm going to get a Steam Deck and I'm going to jump into it. But I'm really enjoying Fire Fencer F. And one of the things I've noticed about the game since I've been playing more of it is how deep the combat system is. I'm just getting so enveloped in how deep this combat system is proven to be, with regards to unlocking new abilities and capturing new fairies, and sort of like mixing and matching their abilities, because each character you can have I think 2 of these fairy characters that you use with you, but then each of them have different abilities, and you can mix and match abilities to sort of like build out your character and make them more powerful and so forth. And then you have the music, which I've gotten like 3 songs so far for my fairies, and each song is different. And then the enemy has their songs, and the songs mix together in this interesting way. And as a musical person, I'm sure you would appreciate the whole sort of like music mixing in a game like this. So yeah, I've been loving it. I honestly have been loving it a lot, and it's been a while since I've sat and played a game, and I just enjoy it just for the fact of what it is, and just actively, when I'm not playing it, I'm wanting to play it. Because a lot of times I'm playing games and I'm like, okay, I'm finished with the stream, or I'm finished with the review, with whatever time I've captured, I'm going to bed. Whereas with Fairy Fencer, I'm like, ooh, I want to play more. Like, I'll finish a stream, and then I'll sit down for another hour by myself just playing, But yeah, outside of, I think if I wasn't on the whole diets and all that kind of stuff, I would honestly stay up and play, but because of the whole diet and the weight gain, I need to rest. Like, my body needs rest so I can actually see the gains. So unfortunately, I can't stay up and play this game when I want to. So yeah, that's essentially it. Fire Fencer F, Refrain Chord on the PlayStation 4, 5, Switch, and PC is amazing, and I'm loving it. I am loving this game. So yeah. I'll have more to say next week for sure.
Most likely. Yeah. Especially also after the PC version comes out. Maybe.
Yes,
that could be interesting.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and
look
you.
at that now. Yeah. Yes. Me. It's nice to hear though that I hear you. I hear that you are engaged in the game, and that's good to hear, because I totally feel the same sometimes when it comes to certain games. You do what you have to do, but then it's not so much more. You don't engage that much in the actual game. But that sounds as it has engaged you in a nice way. A game that engaged me, at least to a certain degree, some time ago, that was Paladins, actually. And I mean, you and you played it. It's Hi-Res Studios. It's one of those hero shooters, you might say. Quite some similarities with Overwatch. That's an old discussion, and a lot of people were talking about that back in the days. I got curious. I went back playing it, apparently on PC in my case, and it's still quite fun to get into and play. I gotta say, I don't think I played it for the last like 1.5 years or something, and it was a lot of like new champions in there and things to check out. It played well, still, like feels like you can play with with quite low spec PC, also when it comes to a game like this, which is always good for people that a majority usually have that. So that's good. Are there any clouds in the sky? Well, I would say that there are like a history when it comes to the game where they took some decisions that some of parts of the community wasn't too happy about, and it's also quite a grindy game if you really want to play it a lot and maybe also get like further even with your gameplay and so forth. And I think that I read some guys saying that, I mean, it had like 1K plus hours, one of those. And well, he said, it took me like, because the thing was also, is it like pay to win? Or I would say it's not really pay to win, but there are certain skins that gives you some advantages actually.
Really?
Yeah, a bit. Like it can be certain like sounds not being heard that doesn't reveal your position in the same way. Not as bright like SFX going on when you're doing like an alt or something. And and it can actually be the opposite around. Some skins give you a bit too much. Reveals you a bit too much on the map when playing. I would say though that's more of a problem, I would say, if you are playing like ranked, if you're playing a lot and you even do that to a certain extent, like competitive, I guess. For the casual player, it doesn't mean that much. But what it does mean that it will take, I think he said, this guy with the 1K hours into the game, he said like, well, it took me 9 months to unlock all champions, and that's quite a long time, apparently. So there's always those kind of opinions and stuff like that, but it still has quite a few players. I checked like the Steam charts when it comes to player count, and even though it was even more, for example, let's say 2020, it was maybe like 12K on average. It still has around what was it now, 7K players on average. I think that's pretty darn good.
Yeah,
for a game that is quite. I mean, it was released it was 2016, I believe. So not bad.
That's not bad at all. And I think one of the things about Paladins, like if you're an early adopter of Paladins, like we've been, I believe you get all the champions because they had like I remember early in the game they had like this sort of like this starter pack. I think this starter pack is no longer what it used to be. But essentially you would buy this pack and it would grant you access to all the champions and I believe future champions as well. So I don't think I need the new champions to unlock in my game. I think they're already there. So like I think if I were to load up Paladins now on my PC, at least I would hope so, because I have not played it in a while. But
I don't think they are actually, the few I saw. I mainly played with a few that I knew from before. I tested one new that I did. I made a video on my channel if people are interested, where I talk about the game and everything and so forth. But yeah, I mean, it's not a bad game. Definitely not. It's a pretty good game in its genre.
Right.
And apparently, even though, it's always some controversy a bit. Like in a game like this, there will always be people having opinions about everything, and some will say, it's more towards pay to win, but no, I wouldn't say it is. But different experiences apparently. So at least also, I played other games recently. I do this kind of videos too, checking out how some certain games are doing now. Also, like in modern times, we might say 2023. And I've seen other games having much more obvious, I would say, pay to win models. Due to the design and what is implemented in their games.
Definitely.
And Paladins does not have that, so I can't really say that it. And I think it's kind of, I mean, every game that has been out for quite some time makes it to a certain extent a bit harder to just get into as a newbie. But on the other hand, I still feel that a game such as Paladins, it's quite chill when you play those social playlists, and it's not really. I think it's quite friendly when it comes to getting in as a newcomer. Some people might disagree, but at least from my perspective. So yeah.
I think
retro.
I think you have reinvigorated my intrigue in checking out Paladins, because I do now want to know if I still have access to, because last I played I still had access to all the champions that they had in the game. So
I've had that too. I mean, we had the keys, I guess, at the same time at that point, if I remember correctly. I think it was the same, like Paladins and also Dead by Daylight.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna check and see if I have all the champions. I have to reinstall it though. I don't have it installed on my PC, so I'm gonna have to reinstall it. I just want to
say, when it comes to Dead by Daylight, by the way, first off, I think about maybe streaming it soon, in a few weeks at least from now, because it's always fun to get back to and play a bit. You know how it is. It's kind of cool experience. I saw that they have been, they're adding new stuff there too. I think in September. Nicolas Cage will be in the game.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Intriguing. I guess I'll have to check on Nicolas Cage when he has been added to the game, along with whatever else they add at some point or the other. And I know I've checked that as well recently and seen a few new additions to that game as well. So
yeah. Can't imagine.
It's going to be interesting to jump in there and see what the new developments are and how the meta is, and what everyone else is doing and saying and all that kind of stuff with regards to it and so forth. But yeah, I'm seeing in the comments from Nalu something about I can't believe what Activision Blizzard is doing with Overwatch 2. I'm not sure what's going on with Overwatch 2. Roger, do you know?
Yes, or yes or no, I would say. I know one thing at least. I know that they have canceled the PvE in when it comes to Overwatch 2. That's all I've heard. I actually got, this is a bit funny, I got a comment on my Paladins video yesterday. He said, this is so funny, it just got into my recommendation, and I'm just done when it comes with the Overwatch 2 since they've canceled the PvE. That's what he wrote, and that's why I know it. Otherwise I wouldn't care. I haven't tried. I mean, I played Overwatch. I did. I played some. I mean, I did that with some friends, with my sons as well, actually. But I never really. I played more Paladins, to be honest. Interesting enough. But yeah, I hear you. Regarding that. If that's what you meant when it comes to the chat and everything, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Is it anything else they've done? I wouldn't be surprised. I do know one thing that Activision, well, Blizzard, you can say, but Activision foremost when it comes to Call of Duty, there's been a project going on for quite some time called SM2. And SM2 is a bunch of guys that are like... it's not like these plutonium servers that literally are just making, good servers for older Call of Duty games. This is actually a game where they have used I think it's the engine from Modern Warfare 2, and like worked with it and improved, and then brought in like guns and maps from a lot of Call of Duty games through the years. And I got really hyped. I saw the trailer, like I think they presented it like it's a few years ago now, but also not too long ago. And it looked very promising, especially in comparison to what we've got in that franchise the last year. A lot of people has been disappointed, myself included. But now Activision, and I was kind of in a way expecting this. They have reached out and said, you can't do this, we will sue you.
Wow.
So that's that.
That's that. That's the way it is.
And I mean, they have, of course, they're fully right to do so.
Yes.
I mean, I can understand that, but at the same time, well, if you are doing that now, well, then step up your game and make the games even better, because then we don't need, but these kind of initiatives wouldn't be that strong. The incentive to do that wouldn't be that strong. Yeah,
because that's where it comes from. It comes from a lack of it comes from a longing, a place of people can't get what they're looking for, so they'll seek it out wherever they can have it, essentially. And it's unfortunate that that's the case, that's how the industry is going, where players are trying to add value to the games that they've spent money or time into, and developers are pushing back against that, especially if the way in which they're doing it isn't a way that's detrimental to the game per se, or a way that is that's potentially gonna help keep people in that ecosystem that the developers has created. But unfortunately, a lot of developers are pushing back. I think the biggest culprit of doing that in the worst way is probably Nintendo. I think Nintendo do it the worst in how they approach their friendliness towards the user base and how they approach their games. And then is very aggressive in that sense, but at the same time, it's their IP. They can do whatever they want with it. I would say don't be surprised when you find your game loses out in the end. Sometimes with a lot of games that could happen to you. That being said, about losing out in the end and all that kind of stuff, that aside, I've been watching some Tele, and I've watched a movie this week, and it's a bit of it wasn't what I expected, is the best way to put it. It's, I don't know what to say. Like, so the movie is called 3,000 Years of Longing. It's 2002, so 2022 movie. So it released last year. An hour and 48 minutes. It is a 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb at this particular point in time. It stars Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton. Okay.
Yes.
Well, so alongside with Idris Elba. That's
yes,
kind of interesting.
They are your leads in this film, and it's interesting, right? It is. Yeah. It is quite the interesting film. Now, I want to talk about this film in I guess a certain percentage of detail, but at the same time, I do feel like where this film, what's the word for it? Where it strives best is the lack of knowledge with regards to what exactly is going on, how it plays out. So in essence,
you know what they say about the movie? I just saw it. Mm-hmm. They call it like an Aladdin for adults.
Yes,
for adults. That's what they say.
It is Aladdin for adults in the sense that it's a story about a genie and this woman who comes into contact with a genie, so she gets the lamp, and the story about the genie, the film is mostly about the genie, right? Like his life as being a genie, right, or a jinn as they call it. So yes. his life as a jinn, and she's a scholar who likes learning stuff. So essentially, most of their story of the film is him sharing his life with her, telling her about like his experience and what he's been through and all that kind of stuff as a jinn, and her just fascinated about the whole thing because she likes knowing. And it's interesting. I think the final act is a bit of I'm not sure if I find a way the final act was probably handled. I didn't really like it per se, in the sense of like I didn't find it to be the most compelling final act, but I liked it at the same time. So I liked the final act, but I felt like based on how the prior acts of the film were portrayed, the final act came as a surprise to me. And when I say as a surprise to me, it came as a surprise to me in a sort of unsatisfying way. But at the same time, I did enjoy the film, and I did appreciate the final act for what it was.
Okay.
I think
it's may I ask you? It says like drama, fantasy, romance.
It is a bit of all of that.
Is it a bit of comedy as well, or no?
It does have I guess you could say there's a little bit of comedy, but most of it is actually the drama, the romance, and the fantasy of it all. Because you're getting a story from this magical creature who's lived for millennia and had multiple different owners, different people who would like make wishes and all that kind of stuff, and explaining why, how he ended up in her hands, essentially. Like that's the whole plot of it all. And throughout it, like you get to find out all these people through history that he is known, her as this philosopher who just likes, knowing stuff, this sort of scholar, she's like learning about these people that she's read about in books, but getting like firsthand sort of like impressions about them. Like, I knew this guy, I knew this other guy, and so forth, or this woman and so forth. I think probably the most compelling act in it is probably the first. I think the first act is the most compelling. How it initially starts, and the first set of historic characters you're introduced to it's so magnificent and so well told. I think as you get to the second set of characters you're introduced to, again, similarly, so well told and so forth. And it goes on and on like that. And as I said, like, I think the final act it's literally just how the final act happens. It's just sort of like, I'm not really sure I was expecting this, but you know what? It's not bad. That's kind of the way. That's kind of the way it was portrayed, essentially, for the final act. Because you spend a lot of the film wondering what's going to happen. Like, you spend a whole lot of film just in wonder, like, wow, this is magnificent and cool and interesting and all that kind of stuff. And I guess the film is also very mature. There's nudity in the film, but it's tastefully done. It's not like nudity just for like shock effect. It's nudity in a tasteful, sort of like romantical kind of way, I guess. And I just want to say Idris is really good in the role as the Jinn, and similarly, Tilda is also really good in her role as Alethea, the sort of like scholar that he meets, that ends up with the lamp. And it's interesting. It's so interesting the way the film is presented. And I think the best part about it, what makes it so fantastical, and I guess this is something I can spoil about the film, is that at the beginning of the film, she does not believe in anything like jinns and magic and all that kind of stuff, because for her, she spends most of her what do you call it? Her academic career. Sort of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Disproven, sort of like fantastical stuff like like magic and ghosts and genies and all these sort of things. She spends a lot of her career like basically stating that this is how we human beings explain things that we did not understand back in the day. But now that we have science and all this research and everything, we can show that these things are nonsense. And then she encounters him, and it's so good. Like, oh man, I love it. I want to say for me it's an 8 out of 10. And I think it would have been a 10 out of 10 if not for the final act. I think if the final act was handled differently, it would have been a 10, right? And I strictly mean in the sense of I didn't see the final act coming in the way it did, and it's because the film does not like the first few acts don't build towards that in the sense that you're like, it's a really unexpected final act, but at the same time it's really well done. So it's like, in a sense, like it in itself, if the first few acts really, I don't even know. I don't want to say anymore. Go watch it. It's great. 3,000 years of longing. It was on Amazon Prime free. So if you have Prime, you can watch it on there. That's why I watched it. And it was great. It's been a while since I've watched anything on Prime, to be honest. Like, I mean, since the season is finished, like I haven't watched crap on Prime. So it was nice to have a reason to use Prime again. So yeah, 3,000 years of longing. Amazing. Idris is amazing. And so is Tilda. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's an 8 for me. Raj, you on the other hand have been watching. I'm confused. So when you sent me your picks for this week, I think you sent me 2, or am I wrong?
What did I do? I changed my mind.
That's what it's. So I wrote down both, but I wasn't sure which. Okay,
cool.
So
it's cool.
You go for it. It's your.
I was about to talk about I don't know, Wu Assassin, which is a series on Netflix, but I'll skip that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that great, so we can
skip
that. I just watched it. Sometimes you just watch something because you just want to check out what it is, and apparently I continued to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Torture yourself.
Exactly. Torture me a bit. Why not? For the pain. No, it wasn't bad like that, but it's nothing I would recommend.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, something I could recommend is a movie that me and Isaac watched, which is the newest Evil Dead movie, and it's called Evil Dead Rising. And I didn't have really like high expectations or anything. I think mainly, and when I say that, it mainly has to do with the fact that this is the time after Bruce Campbell is not in the movies anymore. You know, we've seen him with the chainsaw and the shotgun and everything. Although Mr. Bruce Campbell is behind the camera, you might say he's one of the producers, I think. But with that said, this is apparently a movie from, it's quite new this year. It has like a similar IMDb rating as your movie had. This has a 6.8. I'm surprised that it didn't get more. For me, it's more like 7.5, I would say, at least. And I can be quite tough when it comes to ratings, so whatever. If you don't know about Evil Dead, it's all about this book that shows up for some reason, the Book of the Dead, and what follows after people are opening it or get engaged with it, the spirits or the bad things that comes to their house or wherever they are. So here we have, since Bruce Campbell is not around, it's two sisters, actually quite estranged. They haven't really had that much contact, but they reunion. One of the sisters are coming back from being like a guitar technician with a rock band on tour, and coming back, and her sis is, a mom, single mom, I guess. She has like three kids. And so they meet apparently, but it goes south quite fast because someone, for some reason, the book I won't spoil, but the book comes around and into their apartment, and bad things starts to happen. We're talking about the rise of flesh possessing demons, and so it's gonna be. I have to say, I like these movies. They are always also over the top. The effects are and the gore is kind of amazing. I'm not gonna lie. And I think they managed, especially the first 3/4 of the movie, I believe, probably for me was the best, maybe.
Right.
Like the build up and when it actually happened and who got like possessed and stuff like that. And it becomes there are some scenes that are pretty darn amazing, I gotta say, without spoiling. So this is Evil Dead Rise in 2023, and if you like horror, I think you need to see this. If you're just curious when it comes to as I said, gore and effects and everything, well, go ahead and watch it. But it's nothing for the faint-hearted, that I can say. So it's nothing for kids. It's not for, well, it's apparently, I needed to say it though.
It's for grown men and women,
Yes.
Grown folk stuff.
That's the thing. It's true. So there you go. That's what I have been watching mainly, and I can recommend the movie. Apparently, I hope I said that. I think it's up there,
Okay, so, looking forward to checking that one out. And actually, I think that's kind of the theme of the episode, is that we've been watching grown folk stuff,
Yeah, I believe so as well. Apparently, yeah.
Yes, both of our suggestions this week are for grown folk. If you happen to be not grown folk, then this is not for you. So yeah. I see a comment from Alex that says not all interests.
It's up for everyone to decide, I guess.
It is up to everyone to decide.
Good luck.
Good luck indeed, and good luck with Alex and her comment about not all Idris Elba movies will be great. Good luck with that. I think they are. So far Idris has not let me down. So far, every film I've seen him in.
I smell a bit biased here, but okay.
I know. I'm on a binge. I think, every now and then I find an actor or actress that I really fancy in their films, and right. I just binge them. Like there was Channing Tatum. There was what's his name? What's his name from Hugh Grant? There was Mila Kunis and so forth.
Yeah.
So right now I'm on an Idris Elba binge, and I am loving Idris. And everything I've seen him in so far, I've already lined up my next Idris film already. Like, I'm just saying, like, it's already ready to go. So yeah, he's doing this thing, and I'm liking Idris in what he's been doing so far. I think Ryan Gosling is probably going to be my next binge when it comes to like actor, because I'm starting to feel a sort of like a kinship towards Gosling and what he's been doing. So I think after Idris is going to be Gosling. Like, I'm going to jump into a couple of Gosling films, and then it's going to be Michael B. Jordan, which I think Michael B. Jordan is awesome. So I'm going to be binging a couple of B. Jordan films as well. So yeah, I know what I like. Once I find an actor who does great, I tend to stick to their stuff a little bit and enjoy it. Nice. So yeah. Anywho, that being said, I think we've covered all of our topics for today, isn't it?
No, I think so too.
Yeah.
It went pretty well, if I may say so.
Swimmingly, if I do say so myself. But yeah, generally that's about an episode for us, guys. I think, as always, if you enjoy this podcast, like and share it, which helps us a lot. Raj, how about we get out of here? I need to go eat breakfast. As you do know, I am on that healthy eating food binge. I need to gain weight, and I know you have to have your coffee, I'm sure. Adam's still at the house, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
So he's waiting on you right now for his coffee.
He might be. Actually, today, by the way, I forgot to say, it is a red day in the calendar here in Sweden. So it's work is off. So both like my wife Anneli and of course also agent Adam is home, So yeah, it's true. Yeah, but you know me, so you were perfectly right. After we've done here now, I'm gonna go and make coffee, and at least me, Isaac doesn't drink coffee, but yeah, us three are gonna drink and stuff, and then I'm gonna listen to the songs that we're gonna rehearse this afternoon. And as you and I spoke also before, I will take this little power nap after lunch before I go, before I take the car and drive out to the place, where we're gonna be. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. But even so, happy to have you guys around. Thank you for your interaction also when it comes to chat and everything. As Q said, it's very much appreciated. Hope you enjoyed, and I wish you all a great week. Stay healthy, and well. And I hope you also got some good tips when it comes to some Tele and, of course, some gaming and stuff like that. So until next time, have the best of times. Muffin and out.
Beautiful as always. You know what? I think, so maybe for people who are new to the podcast and haven't been following it for as long as we've been doing it, they would have no idea where the muffin and out statement comes from. I think we should do an episode in the future where basically we have a muffin again. I'm thinking my next visit to Sweden or your next visit to the UK. What do you think?
To do what's gonna happen?
We're gonna sit down. We're gonna sit down, have a recording with muffins.
You mean that? That? Okay, yeah, sure, yeah.
Or maybe Germany. To be honest, maybe we do Germany and we record there.
Could be also, yeah, that could be.
That's the thing. All right, let's confirm it there. Next time we meet up, we'll do muffins.
Whatever place is good enough for a muffin, always,
We're gonna have to find the muffins first. We're gonna have to figure out where we're gonna have these muffins. But with that being said, thank you very much for listening to this episode of That Beautiful Life podcast. If you want to, you can go back and listen to old episodes of That Beautiful Life podcast. They're quite fascinating, if I do say so myself. You can find out a bunch of films that we've watched over the years, and series that we've watched, and games that we've played. We've recommended so many things throughout the years, and I think they're timeless recommendations. And you would also get to sort of experience our lives with us as we've got to experience, learning about each other and ourselves at the same time. So feel free to go and binge your way through that stuff. It's not all on YouTube. You can find it on podcast apps. And you can also find it on our website, simplybinge.com. So those guys, you can find Roger streaming pretty much everywhere at 40 Splish Splash. That's the number 40 with SPLISH. He streams on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and a Sunday. That's correct, Rog?
Super
correct. You can find me at Simply Binge streaming on a Monday and a Thursday. That has not been the case recently. I've been streaming on random days. But I have been trying to get at least 2 streams. Today is Thursday, so I may stream today. I do plan to. So look forward to a potential stream from me later. If you happen to like checking out my streams, I'll be streaming for Refrain Chord. So if you want to come and hang out with me as I play this game that I totally enjoy, then yay. So look out for me at Simply Binge on Twitch. You can find me everywhere else at lpgardenersgarden.eu. And as always, we wouldn't like you guys to miss out on every episode of That Beautiful Life podcast. Many people like subscribe to this podcast on Castbox, Acast, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, simplybinge.com and elsewhere. And what's a comment they're going to like it that we're giving it for free. So as always, guys, this has been queued for your pleasure.